All right, we are halfway to peak bloom with just 2 days to go until the start of the National Cherry Blossom Festival. It kicks off Friday, and a reminder, the festival is pet friendly, but you do have to keep your pet on a leash and, of course, clean up after them. Organizers are also asking that you bring only well-behaved, friendly pets with you because of the large crowds, and try not to let your pet use the bathroom around the trees. And that's not the only thing to keep in mind when you bring your pets to see the cherry blossoms. It turns out those can actually be toxic to pets if they eat it. So let's bring in our expert, Dr. Karina Jung, who is the Senior Hospital Director at Veg ER for Pets. Dr. Jung, thanks so much for joining us.
Hi, Annie. Thank you for having me on.
Of course. Okay, first let's start with the cherry blossom. So I did not know they were toxic to dogs, especially. I knew that certain flowers could be, but let's talk about the cherry blossom specifically. Is it the petals that are toxic?
It's actually not. It's the pits of the cherries. It's the stems and the leaves that are the most toxic. And so the good news here is that when the dogs eat the petals, it's not enough toxin to actually affect them. And so even though cherry blossoms can be a potential toxin to dogs, it's not very common.
Okay. Now, what symptoms should we look out for?
So a lot of times with the mild GI upset, so vomiting, some diarrhea, we can see that. They could, and so some of those symptoms that you're listing up there is the red gums, muscle spasms, or seizures. That's the really toxic parts that we usually don't see in our ornamental cherry blossoms.
Right.
And so usually what we're seeing is just stomach upset, so vomiting and diarrhea.
Cherry blossoms aren't the only thing in bloom, of course, during this season and the transition. What else should we be concerned about for our pets with spring on the way? I know some certain plants, maybe fertilizer and mulch, that type of thing.
Exactly. Mulch can have a lot of bacteria. They can actually be composted with cocoa, and so chocolate is a toxicity, especially for dogs. And then other plants, lilies, are extremely toxic to cats. And so any lilies, Easter lilies, which I love, are very toxic to our cats, and so I never have lilies in our household. And then sago palms are actually planted around this time of year, and so sago palms can also be a toxic plant.
I think I'm speaking for the other pet owners who have very curious dogs. I know dogs explore the world with their little noses, but mine likes to eat a lot of the things outside. I have a little golden doodle, and Augusta tends to pick up those little acorns that fall off of like oak trees and things like that. Can those be toxic too? Something to think about as the seasons transition?
Yeah, the acorns, they can be mostly a problem if you ingest a lot of them, and we've actually had them cause foreign body obstruction. And so those cute little acorns that don't digest, that they get into the intestine, right? Because they like to swallow them whole sometimes. And if they can't get through the intestine, they can actually cause intestinal obstruction.
Wow, that's serious. So we really got to keep our close eye on our pets as we walk them, because sometimes, you just want them to sniff
I
around,
know.
but they tend to sneak in at something every now and then. What are the most common emergencies that you see this time of year in pets?
This time of year, we do see chocolate toxicity, maybe not as common as during Christmas, but there are dark chocolate bunnies. The Easter lilies are huge, and so we see a lot of cats coming in with Easter lily exposure. Even the water that the lilies sit in, even the plants that have sat in the water with the lilies can be toxic. And so we see a lot of those. But the good news is, again, the cherry blossoms not really common and something to watch out for maybe. But yeah, it's really the lilies and the chocolate that I worry most about this time of year.
Okay, well, that's a big takeaway. Dr. Jung, real quickly, where can viewers get more information about Veg ER, and also if they want more information about the cherry blossom season?
Yes, Veg ER for Pets has a website that you can go online and you can find a lot of great information there. And then I like using ASPCA Poison Control. Their they have toxicologists, they have experts. If you ever think that your dog has gotten into some type of toxin, or they got into cherry blossoms, or they got into chocolate or lilies, ASPCA Poison Control online is also a great resource.
Excellent. Okay, Dr. Karina Jung, we appreciate your insight and for spending a few minutes with us today. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.